Standing Simmer here today, and welcome back to the channel for another speed build here in The Sims 4. Fun fact, really quick while I'm thinking about it, every time I say hey guys at the beginning of a video, I always wave my hands at you guys. Like, you can see me. In reality, I'm just waving at my computer screen, but hey guys, hope you guys are doing well. Happy Thursday if you're watching this on the day that it goes up. At least that's what I hope this video is going up. I'm actually recording it day before, but I've learned here recently not to trust my internet just as much as I had been up until here recently. I've been having a couple of internet issues that I really don't exactly know what the issue is, but long story short, I have been trying to upload videos in my regular schedule, and it's really only thrown that off once or twice, but it's kind of has me a little like shy as to whether I know these are gonna go up when I intend them to go up. Anyways, long story short guys, we are doing a speed build today. In fact, this is a speed build for something I'm super proud of, and I'd like to think I wouldn't be sharing it with you guys if I didn't love it so much, but this is definitely one that I love a lot, and I'm excited to be sharing it with you guys today. I think I end up calling this Cape Cod Farmhouse. Now, the reason that it's called something that these two things don't necessarily go together in my opinion, I've never actually seen this combination done, I guess is what I could say. Despite the fact that Brindleton Bay, a lot of Brindleton Bay like countryside looks very much like farmland. Like, if you're looking at the map of Brindleton Bay in the top left-hand corner, kind of where the Hecking House is, that whole area and its surroundings looks very farmhousey to me. Like, it looks like it could fit that type of style, but I don't see a ton of Cape Cod homes and farms going together. But that's what this house is style-wise, at least in my mind. We're actually building on the island of Brindleton Bay today. I almost said island of Windenburg, and that is not correct. We are building on the lot where the museum normally sits. I think the name of the museum is like Dead Grass Isles or something like that, and it's on the same island as the pet cemetery and the lighthouse. So we are building on the only lot on this plot of land, and I think it's a really cool place to live because you're kind of out here all by yourself. It's like you own this big amount of space that's just your Sims families, and that's all the people that can be here. In reality, when you live on this lot, you actually have a lot of random townies that kind of spawn out in the front of the lot off of the ramp that comes out of the water. So in reality, this isn't as private as you might think it would be in real life, especially if you're the only house that's on an entire island aside from the lighthouse. But I just thought it was a really cool lot to be building on, to be living on. As per usual, at least here for me recently, this was built out of pure inspiration for a household that I'm playing in my spare time. Now guys, it's kind of a mess right now. My personal households are there's very widespread, a lot of variety going on there. I'm playing the Not So Berry Challenge, as a lot of you probably know if you keep up with my YouTube channel regularly. I put current household updates out on those typically every weekend, so that's been going on for a while now. I also play the Random Legacy Challenge, which I put out a current household video of a few weeks ago, kind of just introducing that to you guys, and it's actually also the family that I play over on Tumblr, so if you're interested in seeing that play out, if you're kind of curious as to what that might look like, then you can definitely go check over there. And then also here recently, the newest, the baby to my current households is actually something very different, and something I never really imagined myself wanting to play, but I actually started playing with berry Sims. I don't know if you guys know what that is if I tell you, because to be honest with you, like maybe like a year or so ago, I probably would have had no idea what berry Sims were. I only really knew of the Not So Berry Challenge, but didn't exactly know what that phrase played from. But long story short, berry Sims have been around in the Sims, like as a Sims challenge for quite a while now. I've actually seen gameplay of it back from even The Sims 3, and so I guess it's kind of been around for a bit, but I've never played with berry Sims myself. I found a really cool challenge over on Tumblr and had been following a few other people's gameplay of just berry Sims in general. And I was so taken with just how beautiful the colors are and just how cool the genetics are. And there actually is this whole, like, it's called berry lore. I know that sounds crazy. You guys probably think I'm nuts. But there's this whole storyline behind, like, as a berry sim, like, depending on what color you are and, like, mixed colors and things like that, what is and isn't okay in, like, higher berry society. And there's just this whole storyline that just comes with the berry Sims in general, should you choose to play it that way. And you guys know that a good storyline appeals to me as a player, and so I was just really wanting to start a berry Sim save file. I just wanted to. And so the challenge I'm playing is called the 7 Songs Challenge, and 7 Songs Legacy, whatever, and I'm actually playing that over on Tumblr too. The week that you guys would be seeing this, if you are watching this video when it first goes up, I just began that gameplay on my Tumblr this past weekend on Saturday. It was kind of a surprise thing. I just kind of threw it out there to see how it goes, and so far the response has been pretty good. So if you guys are interested to see any of that or how that looks in game or anything along those lines, then feel free to check out my Tumblr for that as well. So long story short, guys, as you might have imagined, you know, in between all of my rambling, this house was built for that family of my berry sims, and the starting color for the berry legacy challenge that I'm playing is green, and the whole point is like gardening and all that kind of stuff. So of course the farmhouse vibe really goes well with that. And so I was really wanting to, of course, having motivation to build for a specific family of mine and kind of knowing the purpose that I was trying to go for. I knew what I wanted to build. I knew what style I wanted to go for. I knew I wanted them to live here in Brindleton Bay. The actual structure of the house coming together was a little bit of a process. All in all, this house took me, with exterior, landscaping, and furnishing, I think that the total footage came to something like 4.5 hours or 4 hours and 45 minutes, kind of somewhere in that range. And so I spent a very, very, very long time on this house. And guys, you will notice here and there throughout the video that there are plenty of cuts. I did take my time, like trying to make sure that you guys saw the vast majority of the important details of the house, but also knowing I couldn't show you every little bit, because even with both clips of my footage sped up entirely to what I normally speed them up to, which is about 600%, I was to like 40 minutes of footage. So we were not gonna have a 40-minute speed build with no cuts or anything like that. So I think the cuts allow you to see a lot of the important pieces of the speed build without missing a lot of important stuff, but then you also get to, like, I get to save you guys some time, you know? I saved you some time by editing out the video really well. So as you can see, like, we've got this really cool barn area over to the side. If you're looking straight on the house, it's over to the left. I've never really done that kind of a structure on a lot before, at least to the best of my memory. And I was really excited to put something like that in because I just like doing things that are new from time to time. I don't like to build the same structure or lot or anything like over and over and over again. So in addition to the house and its structure, you actually have this whole structure to the side. And the main reason I wanted to put that together was because when I got into the house and I began the floor planning, I knew that I was probably gonna start running out of room to put this family. Like, I had a size of family in mind based on how I know the challenge is supposed to play out. So I wanted this to fit pretty comfortably, like more than just a few Sims. I was going for something like 5 or 6 perhaps, including kids and adults and all that kind of stuff. And so I knew that I really needed more than just 2 or 3 bedrooms. And so in order to expand the house and make plenty of room for skill building items and all that kind of stuff, I went ahead and built that separate structure that is like the barn area. And of course, barns go pretty well on farmland, so I thought that that fit in. I mean, all things considered, it seemed to do pretty good. So we'll get to furnishing and all that kind of stuff over there later on, but right now we're working on the interior of the house, and I really like the way that the interior turned out. Once again, I hate to brag on it that way because obviously I'm sharing it with you because I like the way that it looks, but I just am really proud of how this house turns out. Now I started off, you guys will probably notice from the footage of building the exterior, I started off building this in autumn, so all the colors of the outside are a little bit more muted, a little bit more subdued, and I was building it that way because I knew I wanted to start off the save in autumn, and I was kind of just like trying to make it easier on myself as far as like knowing what it would look like starting right off, kind of a thing. So I started building this in my autumn build save file, and then I decided, boy, these plants look really gross later on when I kind of get to the landscaping and all that kind of stuff, and I really wanted to see what it looked like in the vibrant colors of spring and summer. And so I moved the house from my gallery and then into my summer build save file, and you guys will see that later on, but the colors really just come alive, and I think that that was really important when it came to putting together the landscaping and setting out the garden area and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, we're on the inside right now. Don't have to worry about that at the moment because you will get to see that later on. So I definitely had an interesting time at floor planning this. I didn't get to show you guys the floor plan. That was one of those things that I did choose to cut out, along with the bathrooms, if I'm not mistaken. I almost always cut out bathrooms, so it's kind of a fail-safe for me to just assume that I did that too, even though it's been several days since I actually edited down this footage. So you guys get to see me doing a lot of the furnishing and of course placing of cool items and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, the floor plan is done. So the floor plan was a little interesting, but we kind of got it worked out in the end. What we end up doing is you come into the, this little in-between type room, and then you walk into what ends up being the kitchen. And the kitchen has a little bit of a weird layout just simply because of the windows in the back of the house, but I really didn't want to get rid of those really big windows, and I thought it would be kind of nice to have those, especially looking out into your garden area, and I just really wasn't ready to give those up. So I kind of worked around it. It makes it so that the shape of the kitchen itself is a little awkward because I do not like placing counters or stoves or fridges in front of windows. I just don't think it's realistic. It seems a little like pushed together. So I try to avoid that when I'm putting together a speed build and doing furnishing and all that kind of stuff. So the layout of the kitchen is a little odd, but I think it works. And gameplay wise, it does work because I have been playing in this house for many, many days up until the point that you guys are seeing this video and me recording this voiceover. So like I mentioned earlier, the dominant color for the first generation of this household that I'm playing is green. So if you see a lot of green accents here and there, or just blatant greenery, just period, then you'll kind of know why. That definitely was a goal of mine, was to incorporate green as much as possible because it kind of made sense for the generation that we're playing. In fact, the color of the generation is lime. It's supposed to be lime instead of just purely green, but lime is kind of hard to do and make it look nice in a family home type setting. I really wasn't ready to commit and go that crazy. So we end up doing a lot of just more muted like sage tones and things along those lines. Sage is actually the name of my main sim as well. He is a gardener, and I've really been enjoying playing the challenge so far. It's actually been it's been a good long while. Like we're talking probably since just after seasons came out that I attempted to work my way through the gardener career, specifically the botanist branch. I did have a member of my goth family current household that was in the gardener career, but she went into the florist branch. So my sim Sage is like destined for the botany branch of the gardener career. And so just as you can probably tell, between all the gardening, between the fact that lime is a prevalent color and all that kind of stuff, green is just going to kind of be everywhere in this house. And I wanted to make sure to put things like plants everywhere too, because if you are interested in the outdoors and gardening in general, then I imagine you'd have a lot of plants in your house because that just kind of makes sense. So guys, I hope you guys are having a great week so far. My week has been kind of crazy, not gonna lie to you. I'm really excited for the weekend. I'm recording this on a Wednesday, as I mentioned, so the day before this video is supposed to be going up. And I'm so ready to just kind of chill. I'm so ready for the weekend to be here. I'm actually like trying not to wish my life away in any major sense, but I'm also really excited for Get Famous to come out next week. Like, raise your hand in the comments if you're excited about that. I imagine most of you probably are. Now, to be fair though, I know a couple of people who aren't really too hyped about the new pack, and that's totally fine. I mean, you do you, whatever your opinion is, it's awesome because that's your opinion. But at the same time, I'm kind of excited about it and I'm really ready for some new content. To be honest with you, some of the features that have been introduced and that are promised to be introduced, especially between like the next patch and the pack itself, I'm not like, they weren't top of my list. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like they weren't like stuff I was jonesing for. Like they were not stuff I'm like banging down EA's door for The Sims 4, but it's new content and some elements are brand new things that have never been done in the game before. And by the game, I mean like the franchise, at least that I know of. I can't really say that too much and be super confident about it because truly I only ever played The Sims 3 because that's the game I started with in the franchise, and then of course now I'm moving on to The Sims 4 primarily. I have played a bit of Sims 2, but I'm not super familiar with it. So it's just cool though to see like other people who have been in the franchise for a while say that like some of these features that they're about to be introducing are just brand new in general. Now, one thing in particular that is going to be coming out with the new patch that's coming a little bit earlier next week before Get Famous is supposed to come out is of course the first-person camera feature that they kind of premiered during the live stream that happened this week. I'm sorry though if you're watching this in the future and all this information is a little outdated and irrelevant. I try to kind of keep my voiceovers in like this weird mix between relevant but also timeless, which those two things, I think that's a balance that's kind of hard to strike. Like, I want to talk to you guys about things that are just happening now because like that's when I'm recording this voiceover. I don't want it to seem like I recorded this voiceover 2 weeks ago instead compared to when you're seeing it. But at the same time, I don't want it to be totally boring and like, well, yeah, Mariah, we've had that feature forever if you're watching this like say months in the future. But anyways, I'm probably overthinking that aspect, but I am really excited for the new stuff in general. I feel like it's been a little bit of time since we had anything new for The Sims, and by that I mean, of course, the Caribbean update came out a few months ago, and then Season Seasons was before that, but there really just hasn't been a lot of new stuff for The Sims, and I know they've been teasing this now for about a month or so now, but I'm really excited to get my hands on the new stuff, you know? I'm ready for some new build buy stuff. I'm excited for terrain tools, even though I have no idea how I'm gonna use them. I'm actually kind of nervous and excited at the same time, if I'm just being honest with you. But I'm just excited for new stuff, and next week is gonna be a week of new stuff, and I'm excited about that. I also heard here this week that Embargo is supposed to release on Game Changers who have early access to the pack. I think it's Wednesday, which would be, I want to say like the 14th. Is that right, guys? Is that right? Is it the 14th? Okay, I want to say it's the 14th. If you are like specifically in like the US times, not just US, but I know that people who live like in Australia and New Zealand are sometimes on a completely different day compared to where, you know, what I am right now. So if you're kind of in this general area, I know it's supposed to be the 14th for Embargo release there, and I'm so excited to see all the early access stuff too, because it's just really cool to see these people who do get early access to like give us a first look into what actual gameplay looks like. Now, we're not talking about like Sims Camp stuff when everything's still kind of like mildly in the testing phases and they only have a limited amount of time to record and all that kind of stuff, but like we're talking people who've had their hands on the pack and have had time to like record a little bit of like really good like quality content type stuff, and I'm really excited about that. I always kind of like, it's a little bit anxiety provoking, but also really exciting all at the same time for like your watch later list to clutter up massively. Like I'm just picturing now the amount of content that I'm going to be able to just like be adding to my watch later list as I'm at work that day and just enjoy watching on the next day and that evening and all that kind of stuff. I remember back when Seasons came out that okay, so like I always kind of like that my watch later list is kind of on the lower end. I have it filled up, but I have it filled up like pretty well during the day, and then by the end of the day, like after I've been home and like if I'm working out or anything like that and I'm watching through my videos or I'm playing The Sims, watching some videos, I usually can whittle down my watch later list like pretty easily. But then when Seasons came out, my watch later list was massive for weeks. Like it took me forever to get through all of the content that was released because like people are releasing stuff like multiple videos a day, like videos every day. You know, the upload schedules just get broken because it's just that kind of a time because people are so excited for all this new stuff and they're like trying to get their content out there kind of a thing. But I'm excited for that, like, and kind of nervous at the same time because I know there's just going to be so much content, and I am excited to see a lot of the stuff in better action than what we've been able to see it in up to this point. So anyways, guys, we are working on, or have been working on, the whole little cool barn area. We've completely finished furnishing the house. I just rambled all the way through that. Now guys, like I said earlier, you'll notice like lots of like really kind of almost obnoxious pops of green, but at the same time you might also see like a blue influence in there too, and that's because the spouse of my first generation is supposed to be the color teal, and then that's also supposed to be the color for the next generation. And so there is kind of like this mixing of the two colors because I really wanted to look like that these two Sims kind of decorated their house together and that it was really more of a joint effort compared to anything, and rather than it just all being green, there are like pops of blue in there too. So you guys probably noticed that way back when we did the master bedroom, or at least what I would consider to be the master, there was like that really almost obnoxious leafy green wallpaper that has the green and the blue swatches mixed together. That is the bedroom for those two Sims. And while again the colors are a little bit like out there and a little bit in your face, it really suits the Sims well. And so that's why I made that decision for a couple of those, like those decorating choices. Like it's not necessarily something I would have done in a regular speed build, perhaps like a speed build for a regular Sim family, but then again, it's kind of fun to play with color from time to time. And then of course we were also, like I said earlier, working on the barn area, and in the barn area I actually like laid it out and did the floor planning and stuff with the intention for there to be a bedroom or space for more bedrooms upstairs. But then when I got all the stuff I needed over in the main house, I just wanted to put more skill building items there instead. So that upper floor to the barn area, you could very, very easily turn it into at least one more bedroom, maybe two, depending on how good you do with the whole like weird floor planning thing. But there is space up there for a lot of stuff, and so you can fit like a ton of you can fit a ton more stuff in this house if you just do a little bit of adjustment, kind of depending on what your sim family needs. Speaking of bedrooms in general, again, you've already seen me kind of do them, but we're up to, I think, 3 dedicated bedrooms in the house and 3 bathrooms over there as well. And then over in the barn area, as I mentioned, the upstairs floor can very well be at least 1, maybe 2 more bedrooms if you would section it off that way. And then there's a bathroom downstairs. As it is, I managed to get a whole bunch of skill building items up in the upstairs part of the barn. Like we have, okay, let's see, we have a punching bag, we have an easel, I put the archaeology table in there, I also put the woodworking bench and the floristry table in there. And then guys, in my personal gameplay, like after I'd already uploaded this to the gallery, of course, I managed to fit one of the vet tables in there on the upper floor as well, kind of like parallel to the stairs, because one of my Sims dogs got sick and I didn't want to take them to the vet because I'm lazy when it comes to my own gameplay. Like guys, okay, there's the little bit of info that, you know, I don't really share too often, is that when it comes to my personal gameplay, I really am kind of lazy. Like my Sims, I really don't like them to leave the house. And when they leave the house because I have this sudden burst of inspiration, like, you know, I never leave my house except to go to work. Why don't you guys leave your house? And so then we go do stuff. But typically when my Sims pets get sick, I really like to just kind of take care of that at home. Now, so yeah, like I said, you could fit another item potentially in there that works out really, really well. But guys, like I said, we've already kind of made the transition into, I want to say it's summer. I know I said it could have been spring earlier, but I feel like it may be summer. So everything's really vibrant and green, and putting together the landscaping just looks a little bit better now compared to the dead growth that it was when I was building back in fall. And I just think that this looks a little bit nicer. Now, I had a lot of fun putting together the terrain paint out in the front of the house because, to be fair, by fun, I mean like it was annoying, but to be fair, there really isn't like there's not a terrain paint that I think looks good with the sand that's there in the front. So I just kind of tried to blend it and all that kind of stuff. But you've got like a greenhouse in the back. You've got a really nice, lovely fenced area for all of your like growing garden plants and all that kind of stuff. I put a sunflower patch over there just like for some cute screenies and all that kind of stuff. But guys, we are rounding off the build, and I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate you being here, and you guys know I like to hear from you in the comments, so feel free to tell me what you think of the build down below. But like I said, I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye!
I'm so